good morning, everyone. It is time for All-Jo Madden over here on Picks and Parlays, and I have loaded a show for you. I'm so excited to go over lots of games out there today with my three top guests. Now, we've got 15 games on the diamond. There's a couple of CFL games if you're liking Canadian football, but we've also got college football to jump into. And of course, we're going to be looking ahead at the Sunday week 3 slate for any bets these guys are liking. So you guys make sure you drop those questions, drop those comments in the chat here for these handicappers. They definitely want to come at you with all the information that they can bring. And don't forget, you guys, the NFL season is right around the corner. The NHL season right around the corner. We've got preseason kicking off pretty quick. So there's so much that you don't want to miss out on here on Picks and Parlays. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button over on YouTube, and make sure you don't miss out on any of the free content that is being pumped out over here. And now, like I said, I've got three amazing handicappers jumping in. I have David jumping in, Jesse, and Anton, and they're all going to come at you with their best bets either for today, tomorrow, or Sunday, so you don't want to miss out. You guys, there's also an amazing package. You don't want to miss out on this for sure. Over on Picks and Parlays for this weekend, and it's called the Weekend Warrior. Just head on over to picksandparlays.net to grab this. This weekend, get every football player from your handicapper. So the handicapper of your choice for Saturday and Sunday for only $49. If your handicapper releases any college football, NFL plays during the week for Saturday or Sunday, you'll get instant access to those plays as well. So you can lock in early and avoid those dreaded line moves. We hate when those line moves and we don't get the best of the number. For example, if you load a college football play on Tuesday for Saturday, you're going to receive an instant email alert for that play, even though you just have the weekend package. So don't wait until the weekend, you guys. It is Friday here. So get those plays today before it is any movement. The public money starts coming in on the weekend. So that's all for their Saturday and Sunday plays. And then you guys, as an added bonus on top of the Saturday and Sunday plays, you're also going to get the Monday night plays for absolutely free. It is a bonus. You know, you look at these individual plays and they'd cost you $108, but the Weekend Warrior Pass delivers the entire slate for less than half of that price. So don't miss out on a single snap. Lock in your Weekend Warrior football pass today. So it's going to be a great one, you guys. You don't want to miss out on that Weekend Warrior Pass. Again, head on over to picksandparlays.net to grab those Weekend Warrior passes. So like I said, Anton from Advanced Sports AI, David Delano coming in, as well as Jesse Scholes. We're going to have a completely loaded show. Make sure you go on over, open your Odds Logic page. You don't want to miss out on the best of the lines over there. That's oddslogic.com to get those great odds. Now, we did put a poll up on X, and this is a poll we're going to be talking about all day over here. We're looking at X versus the books today, and the books did win yesterday with the Miami Dolphins covering that spread. But I want to know today who you think the best dog on the slate is. You know, we got the Giants taking on the Chiefs. They're a 6-point dog, and we all know the Chiefs is a 3 or more point favorite. It's just not a place we want to bet, but this team is 0-2. So are they going to school Russell Wilson, who actually looked good last week, which I'm shocked by? So we've got that. We've got also the Lions rolling into Baltimore to take on the Ravens. 5.5-point dog there. We saw what the Lions did last week versus Chicago. Could they be barking? And then this line, we've all of a sudden got the Cowboys as a dog versus the Bears, and that gives me question marks with the Dallas Cowboys. How are they not going to beat Caleb Williams and the Bears, who just got destroyed last week? Dak Prescott, there's no stopping this offense from what we've seen. And last but not least, the Saints. The Saints plus the 7.5 points. That line keeps moving. The Seahawks haven't been able to win at home. So there is a huge question mark around that. X versus the books. Head on over. Get those bets or those votes in. Let us know where you're going with your barking dog. So you guys, I see you. Week 3 is for the dogs. I love where you're going. It feels like it is a dog week. I rode the dogs last weekend. And it hurt. It really did. But we've got you guys coming into the chat. So keep dropping those questions, dropping those comments. Like I said last night, we did see the Bills get the win 31-21. Tua, the offense, they looked better than I expected out there. They were able to stay competitive until the end of that game. So it was great to see the Bills get the win, but did they cover? No. So if you laid the 11.5 with the Bills, if you played the under, that definitely hurt you yesterday. But let's go into the show here. Let's bring David in and we're going to see what he's like. And today we're going to talk everything out there on the slate with David. David?
Hey.
Try to get you in here. Sorry, the StreamYards program is just being a little finicky right now. Let's go. There we go, David. You're in the show.
Hey, Joe, I'm glad to be here. Crossed paths before on different shows that we were talking about off air, but glad to be here with you. I'm here for the first time on this show, and glad to be here in front of the Picks and Parlays family. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely excited to have you here today. We've got so much to go over. Like I said, loaded day out there on the diamonds. And I know there's a couple games that you do have circled on the diamonds today. The first one being the matchup between the Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, what are you looking at in this matchup?
Yeah, so even though this is football season, I always like talking about Major League Baseball since 2022 collectively, just number one on Picks and Parlays for Major League Baseball. And we find a lot of value at times like this because everybody wants to think about the NFL and college football. But I'm going to keep this one really simple with the Brewers. I mean, the Brewers have been an undervalued team all year. The most important stat that matters, they're the most profitable team, which basically means if you every season, if you bet on every game, every team, every game, you would have made more with the Brewers than any other team. Mizorowski going on the mound against Gray, not really a pitching matchup that jumps out at you, but the Cardinals now are out of this thing. And the Brewers, even though they have the best record, the Phillies still have a slight chance to catch them as long as if they don't take care of business. But the Brewers have been taking care of business. So this is just a nice, very manageable money line price to ride the best value team and best team in baseball. So I like the Milwaukee Brewers on the money line in this one.
Yeah, and we're getting a nice price for the Milwaukee Brewers right now. They're coming in at -110. So you guys, Milwaukee Brewers on the money line there. And then I know you love throwing together those parlays. What have you got for us?
Yeah, so a lot of people are going to play, parlays and things like that with the player props. I'm not doing anything crazy like a eight leg or 22 leg, but a 2-leg. I do like looking at this game between the Guardians and the Twins. Jose Ramirez has the whole Guardians team, but Jose Ramirez has been on fire over the last 15 days. This guy has a 393 on-base percentage, and he's going up against Pablo Lopez, who's a strong pitcher, but Ramirez sees him often and 409 lifetime against him. So I'm not a big home run prop person, but I do like that hit plus run plus RBI. So I like Jose Ramirez to go over 1.5 hits plus run plus RBI in this spot. And then looking at the Diamondbacks game against the Phillies, this is a game where I expect the Diamondbacks to put up some runs. I like Gabriel Moreno in this spot. He's 2 for 2 against Walker. Going for the Phillies, small sample size, but he does have a home run there. But also, Moreno in great form over the last 15 days. He has a 465 on-base percentage, so I like the matchup. I like the way that he's been swinging the bat. Arizona, still alive, even though they made some huge traded away some stars right before the deadline. So I think that they score some runs, and I'm looking to get behind Moreno. So we put him and Ramirez together with that over 1.5 hit plus run plus RBI gives us a nice plus money at plus 201.
You got to love that plus 201 a price that you're getting there for that parlay together. So best of luck in those bets. Now, as we are so deep into, the MLB season, what is one team that's really letting you down right now, David? Like that you didn't expect to be sitting where they are? Because we know, like for myself, the Blue Jays, they got so hot for a while and they've been kind of letting me down. They took that loss yesterday, unable to put up any runs. They got shut down in that one and I didn't expect it. So where are you looking for these teams right now? Anyone standing out?
It's really interesting. And one game that's tempting. I didn't pull the trigger on it though, is with the Detroit Tigers and the Braves. And you looked at that's a very manageable line. The Tigers are almost in opposite form that they were last season. Last season, they looked dead. They became the hottest team in baseball and snuck into the playoffs and made some noise. And now the fact Cleveland's 3.5 games behind them, the fact that the Tigers, who looked like they were going to run away with the division and had a shot to not only run away with that division, but have the best record in the American League, the fact that they're still playing meaningful baseball games right now and that they're going up against an Atlanta team that's actually, even though they're done, playing well. So the Tigers, based off the way that they started, has been a little bit of a disappointment. And the Mets as well, as far as they were right there with the Phillies for so long, and then they kind of went in the tank and they're looking shaky. So the Tigers and the Mets are two teams that don't seem to be trending in the right direction right now.
What do you think of Clayton Kershaw getting his start here tonight?
It's a tough spot because going up, he's faced the Giants so many times. And, the Dodgers have been a team that at times they're always so overinflated. But I don't want to – I stayed off of that game because I kind of feel like Kershaw is going to have some magic today. The fact that that's been announced. And the Dodgers, I mean, they're still playing for something too in a tight race with the Padres. So if I had to go ahead and play that one, I would look at some props and get behind Kershaw. I do think that he's going to pitch well tonight. And even though a little bit pricey, I do think that the Dodgers are going to get the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Might be a nice strikeout prop for Clayton Kershaw tonight. Now, we've got college football going on. There's a handful of games out there, but I know there is one game that you do have circled. You're looking at the game between Tulsa and Oklahoma, correct? This game coming in with Tulsa laying or grabbing 9.5. There's actually 10s out there, you guys. So be careful with that line, depending on which way you like it. That total sitting at 54.5, David.
Yeah, Joe, this one is kind of crazy, especially with it being on Friday with a limited card, because it feels like they're really kind of almost begging you to take Oklahoma State at this point. I mean, at one point it was 14, and I was looking at it at 12, and they got sent my plays over. It was at 11 and 9, and now it's at 9.5. So they're almost telling you take the Cowboys in this spot. They're going up against Tulsa, but I still can't, even though some of the value is decreasing, I can't get behind Oklahoma State in this one. I think that this is a situation that you look at the names of the teams and you're thinking, okay, Tulsa, mid-major, Oklahoma State, Power 4 school. But, this is a team, they didn't win any games in their conference last year. they lost 69-3 to Oregon. It's a little scary that they've had some time to sit on this loss, but this team isn't very good. They're not a Power 4 roster right now. Both of these teams, very young at the quarterback position, have been playing multiple quarterbacks, but Oklahoma State's offense has not really been able to get going, and that includes the first win of the season that they played against UT Martin. So this is an interstate game. When you're at a school like Tulsa, a mid-major in the state of Oklahoma, you get up for these types of games. So I like Tulsa to cover, even though the number is going more the up as far as the values going in. It's even with 9.5. I cannot touch Oklahoma State right now. So Tulsa plus 11, plus 9.5, plus 10. It's Tulsa for me.
Yeah, you guys make sure you do go over to Odds Logic, shop those lines. There are 10s, there's 10.5s out there. The majority of the books are moving to those 9.5. So get those numbers, get Tulsa plus the 10.5. In what way could Tulsa pull off the huge upset and win this one? Like, is it worth looking at Tulsa as a live barking dog?
I think so. I mean, you look at Oklahoma State had such a poor season last year. And I think that this team, that they're actually worse than they were last year. I mean, they had an NFL running back and Ollie Gordon. They haven't been able to really move the ball at all. So that's one thing that Tulsa has been able to do. So really, if Tulsa's defense steps up, their last game was against Navy, and it's always tough to tell how that's going to translate over with a completely different style of play. But Navy, very solid program. So really, if they could just get some points on the board, I mean, if Tulsa can get to 24 points in this game, they have a shot, because Oklahoma State, this offense, I just don't believe in it. I think that this is going to be a little bit of an ugly game. So they could get some turnovers. We got the starting quarterback over there, Oklahoma State, young, unexperienced, hasn't thrown a touchdown pass this season. And like I mentioned, they played UT Martin the first game of the season. So think if this was a low-scoring, ugly game, I definitely think that Tulsa is worth a look at the money line. I definitely wouldn't throw Oklahoma State in any money line parlays or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oklahoma State, you guys, just to note on that money line, we're seeing it sitting right around that minus 375. If you like Tulsa, if it's worth the sprinkle, and David definitely thinks it's worth the sprinkle, it's coming in at plus a 290. Now that has moved. We're seeing just like 3-4 hours ago, that was plus 310. So definitely there's a little bit of money coming in, that love coming in for Tulsa's. We did see that spread move as well. So you guys, if you like it, jump on it now because this game kicks off 7:30 Eastern time, I believe. I never know if my odds logic changes to my time or not, David, here. So I'm showing 5:30 and I'm Mountain Standard Time. So we'll see what time. I believe it's a 7:30 game. So you guys get those in. But I know there's another game that you're liking here for tomorrow. A game that probably not a lot of people have circled here with Bowling Green. Bowling Green, a 25.5-point dog versus Louisville. We got a total of 50.5 in this one. So where are we going for some Saturday football action?
So I'll say I'm a Bowling Green alum, so I'm always at least checking for the game, but I don't talk about them a whole lot, and I don't really put out plays just to do it unless I see value. But as a program I follow very closely, I definitely see some value here. Louisville, a 25.5-point favorite. Align's is a bit disrespectful. They're coming off of a 28-14 win. Louisville is over James Madison, but they trailed in the third quarter of that game 14-6. I had a fumble return for a touchdown, late score. So that score was that game was closer than that 28-14 score indicated. And Bowling Green 2-1. They had a 14-point loss to Cincinnati, but it's only a 14-point loss. Eddie George, the new head coach, they've had a lot of their head coach from last year, Scott Loeffler, left for the Philadelphia Eagles to be the quarterback coach. So really Bowling Green has a lot of new faces, which is why the market isn't backing them too hard. But they've got quarterback Drew Pine, and for people out there, he's a former starter at Notre Dame. He also spent some time at Missouri and Arizona State. So he's bounced around, but now at Bowling Green, he's played well through the first 3 games, played well in that Cincinnati game. And point being, going to Louisville, he's a guy who's played in a lot bigger stages right now. On Bowling Green, I was on Bowling Green money line last week against Liberty. A lot of people were on Liberty. That was a great spot for Bowling Green. So getting 25.5 points, even if it's 24 with the movement, I like Bowling Green a lot in this spot to cover. Not saying they're going to win, but to keep this within 20 points for sure, go ahead and take the Falcons with confidence.
Okay, so you've got Friday night action with Tulsa plus the 10.5 or 11, depending on what you can get the best lines. Of course, you guys over on Odds Logic with a tiny sprinkle on that money line at plus 290. And David, then you're rolling with Bowling Green plus the 25.5 tomorrow. I love where you're going in college football, and we can't let you go before you let us know. NFL for this weekend. We had a crazy game last night with Miami being able to cover. I know you're looking at the game here between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Washington Commanders. We've got the Commanders coming in as a 3.5-point favorite, total sitting right around 44. What do you like it in this one?
Yeah, so I always try to find spots to pick dogs, and you're looking at the Commanders. Is it going to be Marcus Mariota? Is it going to be Jaden Daniels? And this line at 3.5. But I don't think that this is the spot to take the dog. We got a Commanders team since last season, 8-2 ATS at home, which is the best in the league. And this is a Raiders team with basically a 4-day rest disadvantage. They played in the late Monday night game. Commanders coming off of a loss to the Packers, but that was on Thursday night. And even as dynamic and as great as Jaden Daniels is, I mean, this is Mariota's 11th season in the NFL. And when you look at his complete body of work, I mean, it really hasn't been too bad. I mean, the 3rd and 4th season of his career, he was kind of deemed as he wasn't a franchise guy anymore, but very solid backup, excellent backup. 4 touchdowns, no picks last year. He knows how to run this offense. I can't get behind the Raiders. I think that the Commanders are still going to be able to operate fairly well enough to cover. And I know with that 3.5, a lot of times it's very tempting to take the dog, but I still like the favorite in this spot. Jaden Daniels, is a chance he could go, but even if he does not, even with Mariota, and I'm expecting Mariota to play, and it's only even money right now, but I like the Commanders in this one, -3.5. And it's interesting because when we see this is a game, I wouldn't be surprised if it drops to 2.5 or even goes up to 5.5, depending on the quarterback news. But as of right now, where it stands, I like Washington -3.5.
Okay, rolling with the Washington Commanders. They're laying the 3.5. It's going to be a loaded weekend out there in college football, in the NFL. I know you're going to be part of that weekend warrior package. What else can people expect over on Picks and Parlays for your best bets, David?
Yeah, so my ATS plays, going back to last year, I'm really going to be sticking to a lot of these sides versus totals in NFL. So if you want those ATS plays, going back to the NFL playoffs right now, an 11-2 NFL run on those ATS plays, and they'll get at least a minimum of 4 more against the spread plays in the NFL, and at least 4 more plays in college football. So that is over there, and I'm still hammering Major League Baseball every day. I'm on a 5-0 run right now in Major League Baseball. So we're going high value, but also finding the right play at the right play at the right time. So baseball, football, both sports, college and pro, we're locked in.
I love it, David. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on All-Jo Madden on Picks and Parlays. We hope to see you back. I believe you're going to be stepping in on Monday as well.
Oh yeah, I'm here to be here to talk about that Monday night. Definitely should be a fun one to talk about.
Absolutely. Okay, David. Thank you so much. Crush the books this weekend.
Thank you. You too. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, that was David Delano coming in from Picks and Parlays. Make sure you head on over to picksandparlays.net. Grab his Weekend Warrior package, you guys. You don't want to miss out. You heard how hot he is. And then you can also look at grabbing those MLB bets as well. 5-0 run currently. Definitely something I needed yesterday. You guys know I was taking the Toronto Blue Jays as my best bet for their team total over 4.5. And they put up a big fat O. 0 runs put on the board. So was not impressed with that one. But we're going to bring Anton in. I just want to have a quick look. Anton from Advanced Sports AI. I just want to have a quick look at where you guys are going with that poll. Now, no new graphics because it's really hard to take pictures of what you guys are looking at on X right now. But we're seeing 48.9% of you rolling with the Cowboys as the best dog of these 4. The Giants is getting 11.1% of love. The Lions getting 28.9% of love. And the Saints getting 11.1% as well. The Saints are a hard pill to swallow, right? Do you have to trust in Spencer Rattler there? Maybe the Seahawks do break that trend of losing at home. But it's going to be an interesting one for the dogs. And we've got Jesse bragging a little bit here. He hit Mariota for the Heisman back in the day. That would have been a great hit, Jesse, for him for that Heisman award. So we're going to bring in Anton from Advanced Sports AI. We're going to be looking at what the models are telling us to bet this weekend. If it will let me. Anton, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Joe. Pleasure to be here as always.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into what you're liking on the Sunday slate, how did the models do in last night's matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills? Because for me, Anton, I didn't think Miami was going to be able to step up that way. I had question marks around Mike McDaniels. I thought by this time today, he would have been fired. So what were the models saying?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question. The methodology we use is something that we built over 8 years. So it's kind of complex, but basically the model had the Bills winning by 9 points. So we came in pretty close. There's another layer that we put on top of things, and that showed that the Bills should have been able to cover. So I was telling anybody who would listen that I was really worried about that 10-point margin. I just felt that was the danger zone. So I was telling anybody who would listen to take a teaser at 9.5, which I did. So I was very pleased with the models, the way they performed. It was pretty close. The Dolphins clearly came to play. I think they surprised most people. But the model was within a point of the final result. There was a missed field goal, so could have gone either way. But overall, we were happy.
And you had to be happy coming out of week 2. I'm seeing that you went 6-0 in week 2 in those predictions.
Yeah, that was really good, and it really felt like we were in the groove. Week 1, we did okay. We were 2-1 on spreads. We didn't do as well on the point totals, and there was a lot of discussion about sort of the first week of the season, which always makes me nervous. So now I feel like we're getting more into the groove with the teams are getting more in the groove, to be precise, and so. We started out strong. We had that Sunday afternoon slate where we had Baltimore covering versus Cleveland, and that was a piece of cake. So that was great. And then Buffalo that was coming in at -6. So that was also pretty easy. Although the model was a little low on the certainty, it had like 57% certainty. Not sure why, but that's AI. It's hard to explain. Sometimes it takes so many things into account. We also had Atlanta, and so that was great. So we did really well. In addition, there was one I didn't put up on Picks and Parlays. I don't know why. I think maybe just bias, because we had the Giants. The model had the Giants to cover, and I chickened out. So I shouldn't do that. I should trust the model, right?
Yeah, absolutely trusting the model. It would be hard in those situations, right? To trust the model when you're looking at a dog that is just so ugly as the Giants.
Right. So, we try to balance things out at Advanced Sports AI because with artificial intelligence, we talk a lot about the human in the loop. And so we make sure that there is we have a process where we review what the model says, we discuss it, we go over the pros and cons, but we try not to get wrapped around the axle also, because that can also be dangerous. So there's a delicate balance, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of feel over the course of the season to be able to know when the model is pretty solid and when we don't have to. We look at the high confidence picks, so we don't have to have picks for every game. And sometimes we just say, you know what, we're just going to sit on the sideline for that game. So that was good. The point totals did really well for us. We had New England, Miami over 43. We had Seattle at Pittsburgh over 40. That was pretty easy. And then we had to wait for the late Monday night game for the Chargers at Vegas. Over 46.5. And I went to sleep, and my friends woke me up and said, we had a clean sweep that week.
Wow.
So
6-0. That is so impressive, Anton. And all of your picks will be part of that Weekend Warrior package as well this weekend. So if your model is on the money again, it will be absolutely paying off that $49 for all of your picks this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with Monday thrown in college football as well as NFL. So
absolutely.
Anton, I'm excited to hear what you have for this weekend. Which game do you have circled?
Yeah, well, we're looking at a few games, and we haven't posted any of the Sunday, Monday games yet because we're still crunching numbers. We have that the Vegas Washington game. That's kind of up in the air depending on who's QBing. Now we've been crunching the numbers with Mariota, and the contrary to your previous guest, that 3.5 plus 3.5 for Vegas looks pretty good. The model is coming in really close, so we're kind of hanging on the fence about that. But your viewers might be interested in the fact that our AI model is really right there. So if there's a QB change, that's going to change everything, of course. But right now, we think that 3.5 is a pretty good bet. Nothing certain, but it looks like there's some value there on that one. So that's one we're circling. We're also looking at on the spreads. We're watching the Rams against Philadelphia. That's an interesting one that the model has picked off. It's a home game in Philly. But there are some other things that we're looking to see if the model adjusts to see if that crosses our threshold. And so, looking at some dogs, Arizona at San Francisco, I think +2. I'm not sure what the latest is, and Denver +3 at the Chargers. Not certain yet. We're going to be working hard with our models over the course of the day to figure out what we end up doing. And then one of the totals games we're looking at is Dallas at Chicago. It's a pretty healthy line right now. I think it's come down a little bit, but we're still thinking the model has them scoring a total of about 43, 44 points. So that looks like some good value there right now.
Yeah, that absolutely does. And with that Denver game, please just don't tell me Denver is going to win that one straight up, because my Chargers starting 2-0 to start the season, sitting at the top of the AFC West. They need another divisional game. And who made this schedule? 3 divisional games in a row for the LA Chargers? It just doesn't seem right, especially with the first one starting in Brazil, Anton.
Right. Well, one of my other research areas is sports scheduling, and I've worked with MLB. We do a lot of scheduling in baseball for seasons. I can tell you that it's probably a harder problem than picking winners. We have some very, very beefy computers cranking out sports schedules. So there are a lot of trade-offs in scheduling, and a lot of heavy hitters working with the NFL on those schedules. So a little bit of background on scheduling when you look at some of the things that look like quirks. Denver's looking pretty good, but again, we're going to be checking things out over the course of the day, working really hard, and putting up our final picks on Picks and Parlays later today.
Awesome. So you guys, right now, Anton is looking at the Las Vegas Raiders plus the 3.5 with that advanced sports AI that he's got rolling over there. Now, Anton, I know you're part of the Weekend Warrior package, but what else can people expect when they go over to grab your picks on Picks and Parlays?
Well, really, you never know, because we have the models running continuously. And so whenever anything pops up, we'll put it right up there and you can get it. So ride the AI wave with us. We're really proud of what we've done. This has been a long process to build these complex mathematical models. We don't use ChatGPT. I hadn't even thought about it. Someone pointed out to me that a lot of people are thinking that AI is ChatGPT. And you know what? As a bettor, I say ChatGPT is okay if you want to have sort of a synopsis of what people are saying, or status of players and things like that. I use it kind of as super Google because it can sort of consolidate a lot of information, and you can get an idea. A lot of times it's contradictory. It's there are things that are all over the place. But if you want to browse and see what people are saying, ChatGPT overall is great. It does hallucinate, so you have to take it with a grain of salt or verify what it's saying. But overall, it's good for some things. But what we're doing is way above and beyond. The ChatGPT is just it's something else. So we have a very strong team of applied mathematicians, data scientists, and software engineers crunching numbers and coming up with these results that we hope will help our audience. We want to make people a lot of money.
Absolutely will. Definitely just not search in ChatGPT for
by the way,
what
just so
you're
people
liking
know,
out there.
And I don't know how common this is, but I do like to put my money where my mouth is. So, but I'm an engineer, so I'm a low budget bettor. And so, I put up about $40 on these parlays from last week and ended up with a $2,000, actually $2,100 in winnings. So
that is a sweet payback on a $40 bet. So Anton, thank you so much for joining us here today from Advanced Sports AI. I wish you all the best in all of your bets this weekend.
My pleasure, Joe.
Thank you. Okay, you guys, that was Anton over from Advanced Sports AI. You definitely want to go over, check out his picks on picksandparlays.net. Now, I'm seeing a lot of you guys jumping into the chat over on Instagram, and I apologize, not able to see those questions, those comments popping up. So make sure you do go over to Picks and Parlays over on YouTube. I can see all those questions, those comments pop up. Same with you being on X. If you're over watching on X, if you're watching on my X or any of the X accounts over there, come on over to YouTube so I can get those questions in and answered. Now, someone did ask, shouldn't I be in the kitchen making breakfast? I don't know, you guys. It's not breakfast time, just like we're seeing here. So I guess people going to Jesse's for steak. Maybe I can go to Jesse's for steak. Maybe he's going to cook for us all, but we're going to bring Jesse Scholes in just a moment here. Again, if you're looking for David or Anton's best bets for the weekend in football, go on over and you'll be able to get Jesse's picks there as well for that weekend warrior package. I just want to remind you guys, because it's such a good deal, you don't want to miss out on this deal happening right now. So this weekend, get every football play from your Picks and Parlays handicapper of your choice. That's Saturday and Sunday just for $49. And as an added bonus, they're going to throw in those Monday plays as well. And don't wait till tomorrow morning to get it, because if the guys are throwing those picks in today, you want to get these lines before the rest of everyone else jumps on them. You don't want to miss out on the best of those numbers. Just like we saw earlier in the show, they have moved from earlier this morning, and getting an 11 or a 13, there's a huge difference between those numbers, even though it's just a couple points. But we're going to bring Jesse Scholes into the show, see what he's liking tonight on deck. We've got a ton of stuff going on. Jesse, welcome to the show.
Good to be here. Good to be here. I'm excited to give out some winners.
Absolutely. We've got 15 games out there on the Diamonds. How have the Diamonds been treating you as of late?
I've been selective, but I'm hitting over 60% for the season. And over 60%'s pretty good in my book.
It's definitely good in my book as well, Jesse. Nicely done out there on the Diamonds. And I know a lot of people are forgetting about the action in MLB right now as things kind of get in full roll with the NFL, but you can't miss out on all of that action out there on the Diamonds. You're going to look here at the New York Yankees facing off with the Baltimore Orioles. The Yankees, where'd they come from all of a sudden again? This Yankees team has been getting the win. I don't know, Jesse. Are they going to take it from Toronto, taking the division?
It's going to be close. It's going to come down to the wire. Of course, the Yankees, they got everything to play for, trying to catch the Blue Jays. Baltimore, on the other hand, they don't really have a ton to play for right now. But it is a rivalry game, AL East rivalry, and being that Baltimore is the home team, I don't think I'm worried about them getting up for this game, especially when you look at the pitching matchup. And I really like this game. I almost put this on my premium card. In fact, the pitcher going for Baltimore, Trevor Rogers, I've been backing him in probably his last 10 or 12 starts. He's only started 16 games this year. And for that reason, he's not eligible for leading the league in ERA, which he would do with his 1.48 ERA. He's also got a 0.89 whip. To put that in perspective, he would be statistically the best pitcher in the major leagues if he had more starts under his belt. He's 2-0 with a 1.48 ERA in his last 5 starts. He's allowed 1 run or less in 8 of his last 9 starts, and Baltimore has won 12 of his 16 starts. So Trevor Rogers been completely consistent, just been dealing, like I said, 1 run or less in 8 of his last 9 starts. And on the other side for the Yankees, you got Will Warren, who's 1-2 with a 5.40 ERA in his last 5 starts. And the Yankees have lost 4 of those 5 games. Will Warren's a back of the rotation guy. They're not expecting him to come out and shut down the Orioles here. They'll be happy if he gives up 2 or 3 runs in the first 5 innings. I don't want to have anything to do with the bullpens here, but I feel very confident backing the Orioles for the first 5 innings as a slight dog or a pick'em price in this game.
I love the Orioles there on the first 5 money line. That's a nice bet for us. And then we have college football tomorrow. But first, I want to talk some CFL. Maybe not a lot of love for people in the CFL, but the CFL pays you out just the same as anything else. And I know the BC Lions are taking on the Calgary Stampeders today. Now, this line is kind of fluctuating a little bit between 5 and 5.5, depending on your books, you guys. This total's high, Jesse, 55.5. Where's the love coming in the CFL for you today?
I like the BC Lions as the dog in this spot. History is on their side. They've won 7 of the last 10 meetings versus Calgary. They're 7-3 against the spread in those games. They've won 2 of their last 3 at Calgary. The one loss came by 1 point. And the storyline here is the quarterbacks facing off against each other. Vernon Adams Jr. was the starter in BC before Nathan Rourke returned from the NFL, and Vernon Adams Jr. had to go and get a new job in Calgary. Rourke's been very good, 3,600 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 picks. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the CFL as far as QB efficiency rating. Adams Jr., he's up there, but he's in the next tier down, certainly from Nathan Rourke. The difference between these two teams, the reason why Calgary's got a couple more wins has been their defense. They do have, I'd say it's fair to say they have a better defense than BC. Problem is, they're really banged up right now. They got 8 defensive players that are going to miss this game for sure, and they've got a couple guys that are iffy, so they could be without 10 key defensive players for this game. And with all those injuries, with BC catching points, and with BC really needing a win here to sneak into the playoffs, I'll take the points with the BC Lions.
Yeah, I don't blame you taking those points with the BC Lions there. That's a great storyline. Nathan Rourke has been absolutely incredible for BC. That was an amazing pickup of a Canadian quarterback that has gone back and forth with the NFL and tried to spend some time down in America. But what do you think of that total? Both competent quarterbacks, both offenses that are able to move the ball. I know Calgary likes to run it a lot. Any leans towards that total of 55.5?
You know what I'd do is I'd look at the BC team total because of the defensive injuries for Calgary, because BC is the dog. You're going to get a much lower number on the BC team total. So it'll be less than half of that 55. Let's say you could probably you lay a little bit of juice and get BC over 24.5 points. I think there's better value there than the 55.5 for the full game.
I love it. Now, we're going to jump into the Tulane and Old Miss game for tomorrow. But before we do that, we do have a question from Patrick Dunlap here. 2 good college football games tonight, Tulsa and Oklahoma State. I know David was on Patrick, and David was going with Tulsa, plus all the points you can get with maybe a little sprinkle on that money line. And Iowa and Rutgers. Jesse, any thoughts in either of those games tonight on deck?
The Iowa-Rutgers game is interesting because normally you look at an Iowa-Rutgers game and a total anywhere of 40 or higher, you're instantly thinking under. But people like the over in this game. Rutgers hasn't been very strong defensively. I'd lean Iowa. I just, their offense is terrible, but they find a way to win games with their defense, force turnovers. I don't have a play on the game. I don't have a real strong feeling. Nothing like these the 2 games I just talked about. I feel a lot stronger about. But if you put a gun to my head and said, well, we won't even talk about that, but especially these days. But yeah, if I had to make a choice, Iowa would be the one I'd go with.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to put any guns to anyone's head here, but that expression gets thrown around a ton on these shows.
Well, it's a gambling expression, right? But
yeah. Right? Like if you have to pick. So we are seeing there are 2.5s out there for Iowa, you guys. So if you're liking Iowa, make sure you shop those lines over on Odds Logic. I am seeing DraftKings has a 1.5. BetMGM has a 2.5. So that's how important those lines are, to make sure you go out and shop them there, because if this one finishes a 2-point game in a lower scoring matchup, you're going to win with one of those bets and lose with the other. We're seeing that total, it opened at 46. We are seeing 46.5s out there as well. And then the Tulsa and the Oklahoma State game, that one is glitching a little bit right now. Hopefully I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not seeing you, Joe, but if you want me to give out that Tulane game before we get out of here, I can do that without you. We got both these two teams, Tulane and Ole Miss, both 3-0. Tulane, they got wins over 2 Power 4 wins over Northwestern and Duke. And then they beat South Alabama, a very strong Sun Belt team. And then you got Ole Miss. They had a big blowout win over Georgia State in their season opener, but they've really been smoking it close to the filter the last 2 games. Really nail-biter wins over Kentucky and Arkansas. And this is a bit of a sandwich spot for Ole Miss, who's probably going to be without their starting quarterback, Austin Simmons. You got Trinidad Shameless coming in. He was lighting it up against Arkansas, but Arkansas doesn't play defense. It's a bit of a sandwich game, though, because they just beat Arkansas, an SEC game. And then you've got coming up, you've got LSU on deck. And then they face a very strong Tulane team here. Tulane's a double-digit dog. Of course, they got Jake Retzlaff, the quarterback from BYU last year. I like this Tulane team. I like the way they're playing. I think they can keep it within the number and keep it within single digits at the very least. And maybe even a sprinkle. Like I say, it does look like a troublesome spot, this sandwich game for Ole Miss with LSU on deck. So we're definitely going with the dog and taking the points in this one.
Okay, Jesse, love where you're going there. Looking at the dog plus the points plus the 13.5. So great pick on that one. I am back. I don't know what happened there. So seeing green. I was seeing green over here. That must mean we're going to be seeing the money today. So Jesse, just wanted to go over those best bets for you today for anyone just jumping into the show. We are seeing MLB, the Orioles, first 5 on the money line. College football, you're looking at Saturday, Tulane plus the 13.5. And in the CFL, yes, Canadian football, the BC Lions plus the 5.5. Jesse, it's a loaded weekend out there in college football, in the NFL. What else are you going to have for sale over on Picks and Parlays?
Well, that Weekend Warrior package will be very popular with myself because I've got a Big Ten game of the year on Saturday, and then I've got a Monday Night Football game of the year on Monday. Of course, I'll have NFL games on the slate as well. CFL, soccer. I've had a ton of success with CFL in my career, Joe. I was bragging a little bit about hitting 60% with baseball, but I'm hitting well over 60% with CFL. And baseball is a money line sport, so it's a little less impressive. But when you're hitting 60% for over a decade with an ATS sport like CFL football, that's put it this way, there ain't many guys in front of me.
There definitely aren't many guys in front of you over there. So you guys head on over to picksandparlays.net to grab Jesse's packages over there. You don't want to miss out that Weekend Warrior as well, as his weekly, monthly cards are available. Daily cards as well, Jesse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, all the best in all of your bets. Crush the books out there. And we will see you next week. We'll see you here on Monday. You're going to be up first on Monday. So you guys make sure you hit those notification buttons. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, you guys, that was Jesse Schultz. Make sure you head on over to picksandparlays.net to get all of his best bets. You want to jump in on those Weekend Warriors. You guys, I can't stress it enough. The deal that you're getting for under half the price of that normal cost. All of the handicappers over there, handicapper of your choice. You can pick any of the guys that were on the show today or any of the other guys on the site. You don't want to miss out. For Saturday and Sunday for only $49 for the Weekend Warrior, you'll get every single football play that your handicapper does post in college football as well as NFL. And as an added bonus at no extra cost, you'll also get Mondays bets in football. So you don't want to miss out on any of that, anything that's going on, you guys. But I want to thank you so much for joining me here on All-Jo Madden on Picks and Parlays. We'll be back on Monday. Remember, we run Monday, Thursday, and Fridays, 11 a.m. Eastern, so don't miss out on anything we've got going here. Turn on those notification buttons. Allie Burns comes at you with Total Chaos 3 times a week, and you've also got all those free pick videos. Head on over to picksandparlays.net as well. Check out those odd screens over there, as well as the free picks. You just click on that free picks tab. But you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thanks again for joining me here. Until next time, stay hot and let's make some freaking money.